That breaking news now at 3. We finally have a response from Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis addressing allegations of an improper relationship with the top prosecutor on the election indictment involving former President Donald Trump and more than a dozen other co-defendants. Thanks for joining us. I'm Tracy Hutchins. Now, in DA Willis's response, she denied all of the allegations, but did acknowledge she and Nathan Wade, that top prosecutor, were in a romantic partnership. Let's find out more. Atlanta News First political reporter Doug Reardon. He's live outside the Fulton County Courthouse downtown. And Doug, you've gone through this very extensive document there, 179 pages. What are the big takeaways that you see?
Right, Tracy. I think you kind of said the biggest takeaway already, which is that Willis did acknowledge that she and Wade were in a personal relationship for some time now, but it did not start until after November of 2021 when Wade was brought on to prosecute arguably the most consequential trial in American history. And she also went on to say that despite paying him just about a little over actually $600,000 throughout the course of his time, in the couple years that he was the special prosecutor on this case, she did not benefit at all financially from anything that the two might have shared. She said they had completely separate accounts. They never shared a household. And so they also, she said, split costs, quote, relatively evenly when they were together. She also directly went after Ashley Merchant, the attorney who's representing the defendant Michael Roman, who made these allegations public. Merchant claimed that Wade wasn't qualified for the case because he had no experience as a prosecutor. But interestingly, in that filing, Willis referred to comments that Merchant made about Wade when he was running for a judge position in 2016, calling him, quote, ethical and, quote, experienced in every area of the law. She even posted a picture of Ashley Merchant wearing a Wade shirt supporting him back in 2016 when he was running for that judgeship. Willis also claimed that she didn't violate any state or local laws when going about hiring Wade or getting approval from the Fulton County Commission. We had even had some commissioners author a letter to Willis saying that they had questions about how this hiring was done. She said nothing was out of the ordinary when it came to that. We're still going through this. We have a lot to get to, so I hope everyone will join us for our coming hours as we talk more about this. But for now, we're outside the Fulton County Courthouse. Doug Reardon, Atlanta News First.
Plenty of new details in that report. Doug, thank you. We're going to see you coming up at 4. We have posted DA Willis's full response on the Atlanta News First app. And coming up at 3:30, Atlanta News First anchor and attorney Joylem Nakrin breaks down what this means for the case moving forward.